So, does anyone know how with an iPhone, I can record videos and then just publish them to YouTube? Because since they're like ADHD, HDR, or whatever, something, I feel like I have to put them through Final Cut Pro, export them for YouTube. Well, that makes it so I have to download them, like, it makes it so much harder. So please let me know how to do that. I could just publish them straight to YouTube. I think they look dark then. Alright, I got cut off. I think I had just asked about how I can upload. I don't think I got further than that. Alright, check this out. So SurfPad, sorry, I should have pulled out. SurfPad is when you combine substantial uncertainty with ramified, which means branching, or forked priors, or assumptions, you will get disagreement. SurfPad is the acronym for all that. I'll just write that sentence on the video. Okay. So Pascal, the researcher who David McRaney is talking about, says we need to transcend that. We need to be able to say, I am subject to SurfPad, you are subject to SurfPad. If we can do that, we go to a meta level. What are my priors? What are my assumptions? Do we have different priors? Do we have different assumptions? And maybe then we can come to some kind of understanding where that person is coming from. Because I used to see a lot of, quite frankly, shocking takes on social media. But now instead of engaging with them, I don't say anything. Because when I did try to engage, I made them even worse. So I think we need a new culture of disagreement, a culture of SurfPad. So read this. And that's what we're gonna do. Let's try to come up with a new culture of disagreement. McRaney, now this is McRaney writing. End of the quote from Pascal. McRaney says, I think Pascal is onto something. After all, scientific ideas like these have changed our conception of ourselves many times. The Copernican revolution, evolution by natural selection, the germ theory of disease, moving the seat of consciousness from the soul to the brain, the advent of psychology itself, making us aware of, I don't like what he put next, making us aware of unconscious forces driving our thinking, feeling, and behavior. At least he didn't say influencing our thinking. So that is good, driving, I guess. But no, it is also constituting. The forces make us aware of the automatic mechanisms constituting our thinking, feeling, and behavior. And all of those things from the Copernican revolution to the advent of psychology, making us aware of these forces constituting our thinking, feeling, and behavior, have all provided us with the tools to second guess our most useful, but sometimes very wrong, assumptions. Of course, nobody's using these tools, which is why I'm screaming at the top of my lungs on this channel. So just think of it this way. Right now, in 2023, we are in a moment like the Copernican revolution, like when Darwin came out with natural selection, like with the germ theory of disease, okay? The moment we are in now is A, moving the seat of consciousness from the soul to the brain, and B, psychology making us aware of the forces constituting, as I would say, our thinking, feeling, and behavior. I think that was a list of two things. You have a choice now. Well, I just got really emotional for a second. You have a choice now. Are you going to be talked about in the historical record as, the lay people who are like, nah, fuck Copernicus. Nah, I don't need to wash my hands. I don't see no germs. Nah, creationism, no such thing as species sort of evolving into other species. Is that you? And if that is you, okay. So here's what that looks like. Just keep saying, oh, no, I believe in like a soul. No, I believe that consciousness is like this special thing outside of the brain. And also say, oh, no, I don't need to learn about biases and all these things that psychology has revealed about what constitutes our thinking, feeling, and behavior, because what I feel is my feeling is my feeling. So there's your choice. Now, if you want to be one of the first people who are like, okay, what did Copernicus do? Was he heliocentric, heliocentric, planetary system? All right, let's say that he was. If he was, okay, awesome. If you want to be one of the people who's like, this is what we've learned. This is this new counterintuitive thing that has been demonstrated to be true. And even though everybody's going to resist it, I'm not going to be one of them. Leave a comment, go, whoa, yo, I'm going to be an Eris. And of course, remember, Eris isn't actually my first name. Call me Eris. But and I've even made it lowercase. We can all be Erises. We can all be people who have achieved this sort of self-awareness based on empiricism, reason, imagination, and skepticism. And it's huge. Copernican revolution, awareness of sort of our place relative to the things that we see in the sky. Evolution by natural selection, an awareness of our species origins. Germ theory of disease, an awareness of the presence of threats that we cannot see. Moving the seed of consciousness from the soul to the brain, an awareness of in what organ you exist. And then finally, the advent of psychology itself, making us aware of what constitutes our thinking, feeling, and behavior. And this is true now, self-awareness, the awareness of what you are, what constitutes all those things that are you, including thinking, feeling, and behavior. I'm giving you a choice, bro. And if you want to be one of the people who, in this sort of pivotal moment, this pivotal intellectual moment, and then the pivotal cultural moment will be a little bit later. But if you want to be one of those people, great. Subscribe. Read. Start learning your biases. Start learning those things that constitute your thinking, feeling, behavior. Get a basic understanding of the brain. Ask me some questions, because I've been thinking about and reading about it for a while now. To learn about your biases and stuff, I would recommend 2 books. Let's say 2 out of the following 3 books. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. You Are Not So Smart by the same author as this one, so David McRaney. You Are Now Less Dumb by the same author as this one, and the sequel to the previous. You Are Now Less Dumb. I already said the title. Then you can also just look at Wikipedia and stuff for the list of identified cognitive biases. But just my only recommendation is try to avoid, because this is very persistent, the ego myth. Try to avoid the idea that like you exist, or the judgment that you exist as a single reasonable thing, and then all these errors are just influencing you. So don't think of it as the only, you can trust all these people, except I wouldn't recommend thinking of it as unconscious forces driving our thinking, feeling, and behavior. I don't even like the words conscious and unconscious, but that's just my recommendation. And to better understand that, I recommend checking out my playlist from the book, This Explains Everything. I'm feeling quite emotional, because it's like, to see it this clearly, that we really are in an important moment, and I'm lucky to have been born in a moment like this. Whether it's Daniel Kahneman's 2011 Thinking Fast and Slow, which was a major sort of game changer in our perspective of self, through to all these different things in the books that I mentioned. Anyway, so This Explains Everything, Mind, the playlist that just deals with the chapters, the mind chapters. And I talk about some chapters that indicate that, and Again, I do have some slight tweaks for them because I don't think people go far enough, or I don't think people are radical enough against naive realism. I don't think they're radical enough against the judge myth. I am just a bunch of neurons interacting according to, and there are these, it's just the way that it's set up, and that's what constitutes my thinking, feeling, behavior. And that setup is not actually as reliable as it feels, and certainly it doesn't justify naive realism. So, so just like, what could you like say to be like, yo, I'm post, yo, if you're self-aware. I assume if you're watching this video, you are heliocentric aware. Assume you are germ aware. I assume you are origins aware, evolution, and then specifically the mechanism of natural selection. Let me know if you are also seat of consciousness aware. So it's here, not some ethereal whatever. And also if you are self-aware, knowing that you are constituted by your neural network and how it plays out.